Namaste, Sanbonani, Huenmare, Dumelang, Abusheni. Welcome to My Voice's Power, Season 2. Today I'm not alone. I'm with one of the beautiful lady, powerful lady. Viewers, allow me to welcome Thembeka. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Lady T. Good afternoon, viewers. Thank you for having me. My name is Thembeka Msane. I'm an attorney. I've worked for various organizations. I specialize in corporate and company law. I'm very passionate about people. It makes me happy to advise people and to see them thriving in whatever they do.
The last episode I was with Zunaid, he was talking about passionate about people. So it means you cannot be a lawyer without having a passion about people. Because I thought lawyer is just to go and stand for people, fight for people. People think lawyers are just people that are fighting people. So, but now today I've learned, the past few days I've learned about, it's all about love of people. So, wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting indeed. As lawyers, we serve people. We take an oath to serve people to the best of our ability.
So what are you specializing with?
Corporate and commercial law.
Wow. Monies. You speak about monies. You are in a world of big monies.
Yes,
you are rolling with
where big decisions.
Yeah, big decisions.
Yeah.
And wherever you go to court, it's who everybody's showing who's the big shots.
Yes.
Can you explain more about what you are doing and how do you find your voice as power? Like, where do you grow up? Are you from the village or are you from the suburb? Just tell us about yourself.
I was born and raised in Tembisa. I went to varsity in the Eastern Cape. To be specific, I went to the University of Fort Hare. I came back to Joburg. I served my articles here in Joburg in one of the medium-sized law firms. I can mention them because I'm who I am because of them. It's called Savage, Euster and Adams. My passion is in advising executive and non-executive directors. And hence, for the better part of my career, I've been general counsel and I've also been a company secretary. As you know, when you're a company secretary, you advise directors on their fiduciary duties. You advise directors on compliance with applicable laws, ensuring that the company that you work for complies with relevant legislation.
Oh, that is so interesting. So you can serve as a company secretary, as a practicing lawyer, or you have to go full-time there?
In order for one to be a company secretary, you've got to be an admitted attorney with a minimum of 10 years post-admission experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh. That is new information, and I love my voice's power because it's really teaching us a lot of things. And in this theme, I'm saying everybody needs a lawyer. Do you agree with me that everybody needs a lawyer?
Absolutely. You need a lawyer you need lawyers on each and every day because as individuals, we enter into different types of contracts on a daily basis. For instance, a lot of people don't own property, they rent property. And when you rent a property, you enter into an agreement with a landlord. And as a tenant, you must be properly equipped to understand what the terms and conditions of that contract are. Understand the rental amount, understand what will happen if you breach that contract, understand what happens when the contract terminates, understand whose obligations it is to maintain the property. And also understand that in the event that the landlord wants to evict you, that there must be a protection order. But most importantly, understand that you must adhere to the terms and conditions of that lease agreement.
But you find it these days that it's vice versa. The tenant, most of tenants, they enter into a contract, pay 3 months and never pay at all. Because they said in our country, we've got that law of, property law that says you cannot evict a person if they can't be able to pay. And I've been seeing the trend of people just coming, and I don't know, they're defrauding the statements or what. They seem to be qualifying and everything. Then they pay a rental for 3 months. From there, they're off. They don't want to pay anymore, and then you can't do anything about it.
My advice to the viewers is that people should pay their monthly rental.
But if they're not paying, what's going to happen?
Background checks are done on people before they enter into lease agreements. And in the event that someone cannot continue to pay for the property that they're renting, it is important for them to look for alternative accommodation, which is cheaper. Because as a landlord, you do have a right to go to court and get that person evicted. And courts do evict tenants who do not pay their monthly rent.
But most of the time, I find it so difficult. You know, you as a tenant, as a landlord, you pay a bond. Maybe you build that house and maybe you couldn't afford it. You went to a place that is cheaper. Then you get somebody with a hope to say maybe they will save your property by paying the rental. And then, as I'm saying, they will sometimes pay for 3 months. After that, they don't pay at all. And then they said there's an eviction process. Sometimes you get too long to get to court, dates and everything. Some people take a year because they know that is a process. So they just leave for free. Indeed. It happens a lot where I've seen something like that and people are complaining about. So now it's vice versa. It's no longer abuse from the tenant to the landlord to the tenant. Now the abuse is from the tenant to the landlord. And then what happened to the landlord? How will they recover the money to pay the bond? Because you can end up losing the same house that somebody is sitting in because you do not have a money to, you can't get evict them in time to get the right attendant. I've seen that happening a lot, and I have a family friend that lost the house because they couldn't afford to live in the house, and they decided to downsize and go and live in a 3-bedroom house that is like they're paying smaller, then so that the house can help them to pay the bond and also a rental where they are staying and be also able to help them because things didn't go well. But they got a tenant that couldn't pay anymore.
Indeed, it's a lengthy process to evict a tenant. However, I would advise landlords not to give up on that process. Remember, there's something that we call a landlord's hypothec, meaning that as a landlord, you can attach the goods of the assets of the tenant. And hence, these days, it's very common in these days that when a tenant moves in, there are certain forms that should be completed. We have all their details, and then we obviously do their background checks and ensure that those people are business people, because those are the most problematic people. Business people are normally the ones who default the most, unlike people who work for companies, because those ones are more stable. But it does not mean that because the law protects tenants, that landlords do not have rights.
You know, I find it in this country, as I was saying with the other attorney that I had invited in the show previously, I was talking about employer. We're talking about employer. So even this one, I feel like somewhere the law favors the tenant than the landlord. But the landlord actually suffer because the landlord has something to lose in this. Because if you can't be able to pay the bond, you lose your house and you can't evict someone to get somebody else. And also, I'm trying to compare the two. And we're talking about the employer and the employee. Somewhere, you'll find that the law only favor the employee, but sometimes the employee will abuse the employer. And I don't know, is there a law that covers the employer? Is there a law the law that covers employer in any place?
No, Everyone's rights are protected, including employees' rights as well as employers' rights. And that relationship is governed by an employment contract. And there are different types of employment contracts. There are fixed-term contracts, there are permanent contracts, and there are also casual contracts. So the employment contract governs the relationship between the employer and the employee. It stipulates the salary that the employee will be paid. It also stipulates the working hours, the benefits, as well as the termination conditions.
So what are you saying about this thing of BE? Like people just come from somewhere with the big companies and get somebody who's vulnerable there and bring them to say, you are my partner. And then they get into a contract, but they're not even a written contract. They just like they put in a CK, CAPC documents, and then you are a director. Month end, those people are taking money from you. They just pay you maybe 10,000 or 20,000. And one day those people, that business like accumulate debts and everything. And maybe let's say that is a multi-million company. And then you find that the person who's the partner doesn't even know anything, doesn't even look like he understands those kind of things. What is our advice on those matters? Because we see them happening every day. So since the BE was introduced, people just come and said, hey, come, become my BE. I got that experience a long time ago. I mean, I've been in business for a long time, but also I was approached so many things, but I just know my grounds. So there was one of the biggest company that, because they know my consistency and my how I can get a business and how good I am with marketing. So they'll come to me and say, can you be our B partner? So I sat in the boardroom, we negotiated the terms. When I got to that place, I find only one race people in that company. And the only a black person in that place was the lady who was making tea and the driver who's driving the trucks. And I got to ask myself, what kind of a company is this? Where there's no even a reception who's like mixed other whatever. And I got worried and I sat down in the boardroom and the lawyer came there, a lawyer, a colleague attorney, sat down there with the accountant and the owner, and they said, so we are here to negotiate with you a contract. And I'm asking, what kind of a contract? They said, no, you need to be 51% because there's a specific deal that you need to get. But on that deal, you are on the papers, you're only going to get 20%. But in the deal, in the like we're going to sign you with you. The lawyer is here with the contract that is prepared for me to sign. You are only going to accept that you are only going to benefit 20%, but on that papers you are 59%. And I said to them, and then what about the equity ownership? What am I in the equity ownership? My contribution and also my risk, is my risk 20%? They said no, because you need to look to where we are going to present that you are 51%. Well, everywhere you go, you must say you are 51%. But the reality is that you are 21%. The other shares, you have to bring them back to the owner. And what are you? Have you ever met some situation like that?
I've heard about it. In a nutshell, that is fronting.
And when it's like that, what are you doing about it?
Misrepresentation. And as an individual, you are putting yourself at a very disadvantaged position. So it's not wise for anyone to enter into such agreements.
You must understand these people are targeting vulnerable people. They don't come to you that you are wise and understanding the legislature of the country and everything. So they come into someone that they've seen sitting there. You think about, you don't even have a rent. You don't even have money to buy a car. They start saying, I'll buy you a Polo and I'll buy you a house for maybe for 2 million, 1.5 million. And that's how they buy you with. And that person thinks it's a win. And they tell you you're going to give you 40,000 or 50,000 a month. And thinking about that, I'm saying, I didn't have anything today. And somebody's promising me that. But one thing that people don't understand is that when you are going to inherit, if that the company have a debt of 1 billion, you are 51% owner of that 1 billion. But a lot of it's like, don't you think we need to run a campaign where we need to get people to know about these kind of things? Because I think there's a lack of knowledge, and people just find themselves in a situation because of unemployment to just try to get something. But I was thinking, as the councils and attorneys, have you ever maybe think about making a drive about that? A drive about that to teach people about those kind of things, so that maybe they will have knowledge and they can do things knowing. Most of them, they don't know that the debts, it's under their name.
Yeah. It's important to create awareness around such eventualities. And it's interesting what you've just mentioned, because it borders on what I mentioned earlier. People need to understand, if you're going to be a director of a company, you need to understand what your roles and responsibilities are as a director of a company. You also need to understand that in terms of the Companies Act, you have fiduciary duties. So whatever you do, you need to do in the best interest of the company. You must understand what's going on in the company. And as directors, you must remember, when certain decisions are taken, they are taken as a collective. There are certain resolutions that are taken in board meetings where you cannot say, I was not part of a resolution that was taken. So it's important for people not to get excited about people who are deceiving them into getting into big deals, thinking that it's a big deal and thinking that they will make money. People need to really read the fine print. People really need to read the agreements, because if you're going to be a partner in a company, or you're going to be a director in a company, you really need to go through the agreement that, whether it's a partnership agreement or whatever agreement that you'll be entering into. Understand the terms and conditions of those agreements. And also, it's important to engage attorneys when you're about to enter into such deals, because as attorneys, we're able to then highlight the legal risks, the potential legal risks, and also advise you to safeguard your rights, because you also have rights. Because you can question, you may find that you would have asked a lot of questions around certain clauses in that particular agreement, but because you're excited and you just wanted to sign, and you're already telling your friends that you're going to make money.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of people
I think we need more of like a drive, roadshow about those kind of things. I feel like people must do things knowing and risk what they know, but I doubt they know. I doubt they know. So I think maybe we need more of drives. That's why we have My Voice is Power, to bring knowledge to people, because this is the platform for people to understand what is happening in each and every sector. Like we had a train, we had a woman in rail, we had a woman in mining, and we had a lot of things. So it's this legal thing, I feel like is important and it's urgent, because I see a lot of people falling into, I always take what people are calling me every day about. People are calling me about, they think that I'm the thinking machine of everything. They think I've got solution about everything. And also, I'm just a human being. I cannot know everything. I'll know some I'll ask, some I'll refer, some I don't even know where to start. But also in the company, when is the right time for a person to start having a board? Do you think when is the right time for someone to have a board in any company? And what it takes to have a board? Is it any company can have a board, or is there a certain stage of company level where somebody need a board?
Obviously, for listed companies have board of directors. In the private sector, it depends on the size of the organization and the revenue that's being generated. But for small companies, normally they don't have boards. And it's important that companies, as they grow, that they should have boards. Because remember, when you have executive directors, meaning the directors that are operating the company, that are in charge of the day-to-day running of the company, it's important to bring in other parties who are non-executive directors.
Yes.
To balance the power and also to assist when it comes to decision-making, because when it comes to decision-making, they'll be the sounding board. The non-executive directors will act as your sounding board, and they will ensure that the type of decisions that are taken by the company are well-informed decisions, quality decisions, decisions that will benefit the company, and not decisions that the executive directors feel that they should take to benefit them. Because you find that in some organizations, a lot of decisions, especially that are financially related, executive directors want those decisions to benefit them financially, that is. Whereas when you have non-executive directors, there will be a sounding board, because they'll be able to say, if we take this decision,
the company might get affected.
Yes.
And everything. Oh, I get you. So as a woman, how is it to be in this field?
I must say, it's not easy. Very exciting. It's not easy. I've had to develop a thick skin. I've had to prove myself, not just to, well, I'll say it, Afrikaner people, because when my career started, I worked a lot with Afrikaner people. I've had to prove myself to our Black brothers and sisters as well. But for me, it's important to constantly develop myself, so that in research, I don't shoot from the hip. I plan. I'm a very good planner. I read, and I take myself very seriously. So that's why I've made it thus far.
I guess you cannot be a lawyer if you are lazy of reading, because you have to read a lot of documents and in a short time or space. So I guess you can't just be a lawyer. If you don't like books, you can't be a lawyer, because you have to write, you have to read, you have to keep yourself informative. You must know what's happening in the country. Every time you must watch TV, you must watch Twitter. You have to be able to know what's happening everywhere and how things are changing, the climate change, everything. It's just a lot of reading. But I think as women in every places, you need to prove yourself. There's no woman that got it easy, but I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you, because seeing a woman making it in the field, especially on corporate side, it's corporate. Being a corporate lawyer is not simple, because that's where you deal with people that are thinking they're big shots. Because being a big shot is personal. You might think you're a big shot to yourself, but people don't see you as like that. But I always say, even being a billionaire is personal. When I'm saying I'm rich, it's personal. Because I don't know how do I measure being rich. You understand? I always tell people, for me to be rich is about if I empower somebody else and they succeed. For me, that's how it's to be rich. That's why I take my time to do these kind of things. Because for me, I just want to give knowledge to other people. And that is rich for me. For me to be rich is that I wake up, I can be able to travel wherever I want without questioning a price. That's for me to be rich. So other people to be rich is to have a balance of certain amount in their bank account. Some is when they drive certain car is to be rich. So always I'm saying a big shot, it's how you define yourself. You might think that you are small, but actually you are too big than what you are thinking about yourself. And I'm so proud of you as a woman that had to get into this field, had to prove yourself. And going to Fort Hare from Tembisa. Tembisa is like when you grow up. Me, I grew up in the village. Tembisa also is a location. You had to learn to survive. You had to prove yourself that you can get to the matric. There's so many things happening when you are there, and either you can make it easy or never make it. It's up to you. What are your intention about getting somewhere in life? You are like us at the location. You are better than us because you grew up with the lights. Us, we didn't have lights and we didn't have running water. But also, it is challenging to live there because it's so fast. Everything is so fast. So your peers, some of them have made it, some they couldn't make it because actually it was too fast for them. So it needs patience, it needs the planning that you're talking about to be like that. But how do you advise a person that says, I want to be a lawyer and I want to get to this kind of space that you are? Somebody's watching here and said, I want to be like her. How do you advise them to get to where you are?
For me, it's about discipline. And it's about consistency. It's about knowing what you want and going for it. It's about being confident in yourself and not seeking validation from other people.
Oh. Viewers, you hear, be confident with yourself and don't seek validation from people. Always believe in yourself. I always say that, believe in yourself. There's that voice in you that tells you who you are. And I always also saying to people, just go to the mirror, talk to the mirror and said, I'm gonna be this person. You know, reflect yourself, talk to yourself, and in a reflection to say, I want to be like this, and you will be exactly want to be. Consistency, self-validation. Let's stop want other people to validate us, because their perception and what they think about us may not even serve us well. So every time, just trust yourself more and trust God, so that you can be flowing all over. Some people wanted to be somewhere, but because they wanted to be validated, they couldn't even reach some anyway. So here at My Voice is Power, we are here to help you find yourself, help you build yourself, help you with information that can help you to sustain and build yourself. So thank you so much for joining me in this show. And I'll invite the two of them on the second episode so that we can have another conversation on the two lawyers talking to the two lawyers to say, they will ask themselves. I mean, you know, when people are getting deeper into something, I'm not a lawyer, I can't ask more, but I just want to ask basic. But I'm just proud of you as a woman, and keep it up. And then, are you taking people for articles or what in your firm? Have you trained some fellow women to become you or to follow your steps or something? Is there any person?
Stage, but there are plans to do that in future.
To mentor somebody. Yes. And yeah, because you what you are doing, you must build a legacy. You must know by saying, I'm this product. You know, I always have this guy that believed in me in mining. I remember when I cry, one day he said to me, this is not a place for people, for kids. You need to grow up. And every day when you go to meeting, he used to coach me and said, when you get there, you must toughen up. And one day I scared everybody. I stood there, I said, no one will disrespect me again. And that was the day that I took my step and I took my power in mining. From that day, I became respected. So, but also you must build other people that they can be like you. But we are sitting in the community of people that are too lazy. People want to be rich, but they don't want to earn it. And I believe that you can't wake up and become rich. Mm-hmm. People want money, they don't want knowledge. Mm-hmm. When people come to you and say, I want mentorship, when you ask them, what do you want me to mentor? I want to be like you. And then, okay, it took me 15 years to be me. And you're going to take 15 years, but they don't want 15 years. And then after 2 months, he said, but I'm not making money. So do you wanted me to teach you the ways, or you wanted me to help you to make money? So people must get to understand, viewers, we are here to build you. But building you, it cannot be under your terms. Because when you go to someone wanting to mentor you, just go and say what you want. If you want money, just say, I want to make money. There's a difference to be like a person and to want to make money like them. Being like a person as a mentor, it's a journey, because also they'll teach you the journey that they travel. And sometimes it might take too long. And if you don't have patience, you're not going to get it. I mean, it took me 15 years to be in mining and get it right. And I used to want validation of people and validate myself, but now I've proven that I can do it all. I've proven that I'm too good. I don't market myself. I've marketed. You just talk about my name, they know who they're talking about. So, but we are advising the viewers to say, before you come and seek for mentorship, let's understand that the person you want mentorship of, there's a process to follow. You have to explain, you want money or you want mentorship. There's two things. And most of the people, I can tell you the answer, they want money, not mentorship. They want to be like you because they don't understand how long it took you to be the person that they can recognize. We'll join shortly in the last episode of our I Need a Lawyer. Everyone need a lawyer. Thank you so much, the viewers, for watching this show. Please invite others, like our show, comment so that we can see, and also suggest other sectors that you want to see happening in this platform so that you can invite certain platform, but also let it be your view. Let your voice be powerful to advise us what do you want to see us changing and building up for us to have more knowledge. This is about knowledge, nothing else. This show is about knowledge, giving you knowledge, support, academical support, also to build you to be a better you in a working place, and also to have knowledge and understand everywhere around the community, around the world, around the commercial space, how things work. Thank you so much.